Hi friends, it's Queen Alita. I'm back today on this glorious Friday with a message from the Lord. So I just want to welcome you back to the channel. And if you're new, welcome. Just a quick disclaimer, if you're new, it's important to note that not every prophetic message is meant for you. You need to take it back to the Lord. If you're listening and you feel like it resonates in your spirit and you want to run with it, please ask the Lord to confirm it for you, because you may be in a completely different season and this word may apply to you another time, not quite yet. So make sure that you understand what God is speaking to you about in this season. It's important that you have a relationship with Him and that you're able to hear His voice for yourself. I know that for some of you, this is confirmation of where you are with God, what He's been saying to you. If you do have any questions, you want to understand more, again, take it back to Him, because He has the full story, okay? I only prophesy in part and I only know in part, and He knows everything. So maintain that relationship with Him and make sure that you're going back to Him with those questions. So I had a dream on June 1st, that was yesterday, and it was a very it was quite profound a dream. So in the dream, I was at my old place. So this is a property or a place, townhouse, that I bought a few years back. It's an old place of mine. I don't live there anymore. And I was there preparing, like I was about to host. I know that I was cooking and getting, ready for my visitors to come. And these particular visitors were old friends, people that I once knew, that I was in a friendship with for many years, since high school. And the relationship with them just didn't grow. It grew for a time and then it just went on the decline. We just grew apart, and there was a lot of clashing in my spirit with where they were at. And another thing that was very prevalent in this particular relationship with these friends, or this friendship group, was that they were not very supportive. They were quite judgmental and almost like, when somebody looks down at you for doing the things that you do and laughing at the same time, like, how ridiculous can you be? It was always those kind of undertones and kind of, side comments. And eventually I had to just, walk away from that friendship. So I was entertaining these people, this particular friendship group. And I remember just being very apprehensive about getting it right, making sure that I cook everything properly, and also making sure that they came to the right address. So I remember at some point just sending them the address, and then once they were there, they just really were exactly the way that they used to be, around me, just critical and like disguising mean comments and jokes, just very much the way they had been. And then all of a sudden there were people that I don't know them in waking life, but in the dream I had a relationship with them. These are people that are decision makers in big industries in this world, just like the people that like kind of get you in the door of certain places, big time places. And in the dream I knew that I already had a relationship with these people, and it's almost as if I was trying to get everybody together. I was trying to host everybody. I was trying to entertain everybody. And the dream ended. So, like I said, it was a very profound dream to me because of the setting where I was, which was my old house. And, the previous friendship group. And also just these random people that I knew very well in the dream, but obviously don't know in waking life. So what I believe the Lord is saying to whoever this word is for it really is a question. Who are you entertaining, right? Because, and I think that's this message has got two parts to it, and both parts could be for you, or for some people the one part will resonate and the other part and not so much the other part, so either or, right? But really the first question that I felt the Lord asking was, who are you entertaining? So in the dream, I was trying to entertain these people from my past who had always been critical, judgmental, not supportive, and I was in an old place. So I believe that the Lord is saying, as you move forward into where He's taking you to, opening up the opportunities to these industries, the places that He has promised that you will be influential in, or where He's going to place you so that you can be the light in those places, because people are not being the light. So He's sending you to do that. He's saying, when you get there, be very cognitive of who you are entertaining, who you are catering to. Don't bring your old habits from the past to the new. The way that you entertained people before, the way you allowed people to infiltrate your life because of their position in your life, is what He wants you to be cognizant of, and not to bring that into the new, because you're going to have to be able to stand your ground. You're going to have to be able to say, I'm not going to entertain this, I'm not going to entertain that. And as much as, I felt good about the people, the second group of people in the dream, they were not being critical or anything like that. I believe the Lord is saying, what you experienced in the past could happen if you don't go into these situations with that confidence and assertiveness and that certainty of who you are and whose you are. You don't want people to get too familiar with you, okay? And then this leads me to the second part, the part that may or may not be for everybody, or how I said in the beginning. I don't want to confuse myself. So there's an element of old and new, right, in this dream. We got the old place, the old friendship group, and then this new group of people in this old setting. And I believe the Lord is saying, don't bring this new situation, these new relationships into the old. You cannot mix the two, okay? It's not going to work, because you're going to have two clashing situations where on one side you're feeling unsupported and criticized and judged, and on the other side there are all these opportunities, but the setting needs to be right. You need to be operating in the newness of where God has brought you. So instead of going backwards and falling into old ways and doing things the way you used to, entertaining things, catering to people in a way that is detrimental to you, the Lord is saying, don't do that. These relationships that He's opening you up to are going to be very important and integral, because these are decision makers. I had a sense that these people were like almost behind the scenes people who had a greater influence than people who were more well known, if that makes sense. It's like they're the decision makers, they're the ones that orchestrate behind the scenes. So the Lord is going to bring you into those spaces where you get to in a sense entertain these kind of people, these groups. But the Lord is saying, be careful of how you do it. Do not bring your old ways into the new. You are God's creation. You are a new creation. And the Lord wants you to remember that. It's very easy to fall back onto old patterns, especially when you're nervous, especially when you're under pressure, when there's intense things happening, or when there are intense things happening. It's so easy to fall back into a pattern that we used to, like a coping mechanism. And I believe the Lord is saying, don't do that. Be very wary of who you're entertaining, who you're catering to, and so forth, and walk into these spaces confident and assertive and knowing who you are. Okay. The scripture that kept resonating in my spirit, I was kind of fighting it because I'm like, I get what the scripture means, and I was really struggling to completely fit it into this message, but I couldn't. It just wouldn't leave me. And it's Matthew 9 verse 16 to 17, which reads as follows: "Neither do people pour new wine into old skins. If they do, the skins will burst, the wine will run out, and the wineskins will be ruined. No, they pour new wine into new wineskins, and both are preserved." Okay? The old and the new cannot go together. Okay? The new thing that God is doing has to be in a new space, in a new mindset. When I think of the new wine, it being those opportunities that the Lord is bringing, those relationships, and the wineskins is either, that old place, like in the dream, old place, old ways. You're trying to contain these new relationships in these old habits, old places. But God is saying it's not going to work. It's going to burst. So rather, new spaces, new mindsets, that's where you're going to thrive in those relationships and maintain them, and even maintain your own integrity and who you are, okay, in the Lord. That will preserve the thing that God is doing in your life. I pray that made sense, and that is the word for today. Whoever it's for, I pray that it's blessed you, and I will see you in the next video. Always remember that God is a good Father. He loves you so much because you, my friends, are so deeply special to Him.